everyone, it's Adele and April from Just Say Scrap and Biggie. And we are here with Technique Tuesday. So we are walking around in Hollywood and it is pretty empty right now. It's raining, but it's pretty empty right now. So here's Technique Tuesday. Here we are again with our Technique Tuesday using our September month of the year stamp. In the last video I said year of the month stamp. I realized, but oh well. So we're using this stamp. This technique is actually going to be a little bit of an experiment. So we're actually going to be trying this out as well. So I'm grabbing in our watercolor cardstock. Just need a little bit on this. And we're going to try this with both our watercolor pencils and our watercolor paints. So these are our watercolor pencils. I absolutely love these. They have all of the names on them right here. And they've got a little brush with them as well, which is really nice. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to see if this actually works first. Mom and I were curious. I don't think it really draws on it. Let's see if we get it a little wet first. If it will grab any color. Oh, look, it does. Okay, so this is going to be an experiment, and we're going to see if it works. So clearly we are changing the color of our water right now with a pencil, like that. And if you want to have a paper towel nearby just to dab off your pencil, you totally can. But we are going to take the apple stamp here and one of our 2x2 blocks. Season this up well. Do you think it's gonna work?
I hope so.
It's gonna give it definitely a different texture.
Yes, and you can probably do it with different colors or.
So we've got our Versamat here, and we're gonna just tap this in here. Who knows if this is gonna work? We want to see. I mean, the color is like going everywhere, so let's see. I want to see if it stays in the stamp formation. A little bit. Didn't work very well, but you kind of got the feel of it, right? You can kind of see a little bit of the imprint. This actually would be really cool to do this and then to actually take this and stamp it in black over it. So why don't we try that actually? So we're going to clean this off with our spritz cleaner. I could show my new chamois case actually. Want to go get this wet?
Sure.
So Mom just went to clean off our chamois, or at least get it wet. I know that with the spritz cleaner you don't really need to, but just gonna double dip there and ready. Now the chamois has a home. It's so pretty. And then we flap it in there so it can air dry. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, I love it. It's so pretty. Chamois case. I need to find a new home for that. But so let's take.
Not only can it air dry, you could probably use the bottom to moisten your
chamois.
Yeah,
you could like spray it. I was gonna say ink. I was gonna say use it to like use our gloss sprays and stuff. But okay, so I'm taking the. Ooh, this one's not gonna work because it's a background. Okay, so I'm actually gonna redo everything that we just did with this. Please hold. That's cool. You can see it's an apple.
Yeah, of course you could see it's an apple. I think it looks very cool. I think it looks very watercolory.
That's like I said, this is an experiment. So, you know, take this Technique Tuesday for what it is. It's an experiment. Take me for what I am. Take me, baby. Leave me. I guess I didn't have to make the crayon yellow.
No, you didn't, but that's fine.
I was thinking of the pencil.
Yes, I was.
Well, this actually might be cool if you do like the rainbow in this. Oh, there we go for Throw It Together Thursday. Who knows? Like, you got to try to get like the water like in multiple places. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's what I'm finding.
There's a lot of coverage on the stamp.
So this will work with a double stamp more. Okay, that was a little less color, but it's still like bled out a little bit. But now what we can do is we can take our Do you want lemonade, Sundance, or honey butter?
I'd say Sundance. I'd say
Like a more
vibrant.
orangey?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think you would want to let that dry into the paper a little bit more too, wouldn't you? I actually really like the way
I like how it ended up coming out. I mean, you can't see the stem.
Right, but
But what if I even, I don't have our masking tape, but this would be a perfect time to use masking tape. And I'm gonna show you why. I'm just gonna do this carefully. But if you wanted to take masking tape and mask the apple and only get the leaf and the stem, tried to get that as best as I could down into there. You can then
that looks
a little off,
very cool. But that looks very cool.
But you get the idea.
Even if you
I should have rock and rolled.
Even if you did that in
Wait, ready?
A green or something.
Hold on, we're gonna rock and roll. That's a good idea, rocking and rolling. So you rock and roll. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back to our rock and roll stamp video. And I'm going to, excuse my head for a second. I need to make sure it was lined up. Oh, I think this is gonna look cool. I think that's what it needed.
Oh, yeah.
Like I said, I was a little off the first time, but I wanted to line it up so I wasn't like completely off. But like that looks cool, right?
Yes, yes.
I think that kind of gives us the look that we were going for.
Mm-hmm.
Nice thing about the Versamat is you can just clean it off.
That's not a Versamat.
All-purpose mat. That's what I said.
Now the bottom part of that is still
No, it's a little wet.
A little wet. So it may dull what you're stamping on it right now.
Well, I kind of did one of our other techniques where you blow. Like we said, this is an experimental technique Tuesday.
That came out cute. I think I would have liked it if you had maybe done it in a darker
So let's try a
orange.
different color.
Or, I mean, since it's a crayon, so even if you did it like in a blue or a deeper color.
So let's try.
And then maybe did the outline in black.
Well, that's what I was saying with the apple.
Right, and that's why I didn't understand, because
like outlining it in.
Right.
I mean, even like doing the back to school on like the reverse side in this technique, and then stamping the back to school and something, or like the ABC, that would be cool. So let us try. I'm gonna do a deep purple.
Yeah, and the longer you color, the deeper the color gets. Which is really.
That's what I'm trying to do with this one. I'm trying to like really saturate it. Because I hope this works. I like really want it to work well, you know? Because I think it could be really cool. I just want the stamp to like keep the water a little bit more. I think actually that was also the key. So I kind of went a little slowly while putting that down, and it didn't force the water to like go to the edges. It kind of like sunk in a little bit more,
right?
Because it then soaked it up. So I think that's actually a key. So during our experimenting, we're giving you some new tricks that we're learning. So the one that's going to go with this most is grape. So I'm actually going to do the intense black on this one, right? I think that'll look the best.
But I also think you have to let the paper dry a little bit more.
It's actually, this time, because I like kind of rolled it around, see how it's a much more dry? There's only those two tiny little spots.
Right. But I think when you did the apple, it sat there for so long that it completely soaked in
This
the
one
water.
didn't as much.
Right. So it, when you stamped over it, it kind of bled a little.
The purple definitely looks much better than the yellow.
Mm-hmm.
The yellow might have been also just too light.
Right. That's cool.
I think you are right though. I think it does need to like, you need to let it sit because the ink kind of resisted in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
But it does look really cool and like a crayon,
Mm-hmm.
because you know when crayons get used and the paper starts to get like gross. So I guess our experiment kind of worked.
Oh, I think it did. I think it just when you do something like that, you'll have to let it dry.
Unless you want it to look like that.
Well, right. And I like the texture of how the apple looks, and I even like the texture of how the crayon looks, because it looks like it does look like a watercolor, which is.
I'm just curious about this. So we're gonna do this with the. Isn't it called reverse stamping? Yes, it is. Right? Reverse stamping. I'm forgetting my terminology right now. Ooh, don't do that. Reverse side stamping.
Reverse side stamping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's what this is called. So this, I don't want to season this. That's a big thing when you're doing this. Do not season, because you don't want to season that side of the stamp too much, because then it won't stick to your block later on. So just be aware of that. I'm gonna experiment a little.
She's doing an ombre, right?
Yep.
I think you have to get some more intense coloring there.
It's hard to do with two hands.
And I'm just standing here watching.
I like the sound.
You can see on the mat where you're scratching it, not scratching.
Yeah, you can see it a little bit, but
making the marks, but
who cares?
that's
It's a mat
what
to be used.
Yes. That looks really cool.
There's scratches all over my mat, just from writing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if my Versamat's not here. My Versamat's here, I write on the Versamat. But sometimes the Versamat disappears. Okay.
It may not pick up the umbrella.
I know it might not, but we'll see. So see how I'm just kind of like letting it sit itself? I'm actually gonna let it sit there for a second. Hopefully it did pick up, look, you can see it's ombre. It actually went diagonally.
Okay, so you have a different effect.
Not intentional, but.
Another technique.
So you can see as I'm kind of picking it up. I'm not sure if you can see. As I kind of go back and forth, you can see that the water moves. So I'm kind of just like doing this, because once again, you're not gonna get the full image of what you're doing because of the nature of this. Obviously that looks like a blob because of the, we're doing it on the reverse side, but now if we take the ABC, I think I want to stamp it in sapphire,
Okay.
but I'm gonna have to wait.
Right. If you wanted to, I mean, you could might blot it, and it would give it a different effect also. So.
Yes. Okay, so we're going to clean off this block because it's in this. Did you know that you can do that? You can clean off your blocks with your chamois. Fun fact. I think we're gonna go put this under a hairdryer just to really make sure that it's dry. All right, so that has been under a hairdryer now. And now we can season this side. You can really tell when it's seasoned because it's really sticky on your hand at first. And then, well, first of all, you can see that it's not sticky anymore. But it really starts to kind of slide along your skin. Your skin might get raw, so move the spaces that you're going, especially if you got a lot of big stamps. So this is my sapphire and my old ink pad. And oh, that looks cool.
That looks really good.
That looks really, really cool. So just showing you like the different effects of just kind of using watercolors. Watercolors, I feel like something that are forgotten about a lot, which I think is really cool to kind of pull them in and use them when we can. One more thing that I do want to try is, this was with our watercolor pencils, but I do want to try our watercolor paints and see if this works. So this is our scissor, and I'm going to do the same thing where we're going to use the reverse side stamping first and go from there. So I have my watercolor paints here, and what's cool about these is I've labeled them all, numbered them all, so when I flip this open, I know exactly which goes where when I want to like tap it off and use it a little bit. So I'm using our watercolor brush here, just getting a little bit of the color onto our pad here. Just trying to get an intense color, and I'm going to brush a little bit of water onto my stamp with my brush here. I want to make this color as intense as I possibly can, so not too much water, but enough water to pick up the color. Then I'm going to clean out my brush and pick up another color, one that we haven't used yet. Like a raspberry, my favorite color in our line. And this way, I'm really kind of just trying to saturate this, and the water is going where I want it to go versus just kind of free-for-alling and sticking it into that. So let's see if this works any better. Ready? Ooh, that had a lot more of a bleed effect. But I think it's going to be what I was kind of envisioning in the beginning. So this might actually be the way to go. We will see. That was much more of what I was thinking. Because I wanted it to be like intense color like that. But look how much that looks like watercolor. And you're not going to get that effect unless you are just watercoloring something, you know what I mean? So that was really the look I was going for. The pencils are cool because you do get different colors. Ooh, look, I seasoned a little too hard there. But that's what I really wanted to go for. Do you like that? Mm-hmm. I think that looks really cool. Okay, so now let's clean this.
You know, I kind of like I like that effect, but I kind of like the other effect too. I really like the apple. I like the way the apple came out. I like the way the outfit came out.
I mean, I think both are cool, and I both think, whoops, don't do that. That's because it was too wet. Well, it wasn't too wet, but I just needed to take it down a little harder. I'm using a different part of my body because clearly you saw what happened to my hand. I cut it. Oops, don't do that. But that soaked in so much more, and it's a much more intense color, which is what I was looking for. Like, that's when I was envisioning this technique, that's what I was looking for, because you can kind of see what that is. And now what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take the Harbor, just because I really like this color, and it's like a blue. I don't know, I just really want to take the Harbor. Harbor is one of my favorite new colors from last time. Not even this year's.
Now, is that dry enough to put on top?
That is completely dry. It is 100% dry. Unlike the other one, this like soaked directly into the paper. And I wonder why. It's very odd. Mm-hmm. Any scientists out there that can tell us why? And imagine cutting that out. Oh, that would look so cool. Okay, I achieved what I wanted to achieve. So now you can kind of see the different effects of just using watercolor pencils and watercolor paper, but doing it in a different way. And that was kind of our experiment today. I think our experiment was a success.
I do too.
So, yay, I'm really happy about that actually. So, all right. That's Technique Tuesday. And that's Technique Tuesday. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments below. But look at that double rainbow.
It's really gorgeous in
Disney
person.
magic. Oh, we'll post some photos at the end in our outtakes, but really, really pretty rainbow. If you want to join us for our virtual weekend, that will be happening at the end of this month, September 30th to October 2nd. It will be on the Four Seasons paper pack and all of the stamp, the month of the year stamps. So we will be making a calendar kit. We're working on getting the supply list out. I'm sorry it hasn't gotten out already, but there's gonna be a lot of modifications if you wanna do it. So just note that you're gonna need all Four Seasons paper packs. So, all right, we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.